What's up? How is everybody doing? I am Desi. Frickin' welcome. If you already knew that, frickin' welcome back. So let's get into this. I'm gonna try and keep this a short reading. My guides and angels and my star family, thank you for being here. Thank you for being present. Thank you for using me as a conduit of divine wisdom. They really want me to start doing little short readings to get short messages out for people. And this is one of the messages that I was receiving, and we're going to go ahead and dive into it, guys. I had a lot of people asking about personal readings. I am open for personal readings, sessions, coachings, healings. If you're interested, or if that's something you've been wondering about, my email should be below. Before I continue, I just want to remind you that you are freaking awesome. Don't ever forget it. Okay? So, all right. Well, a whole different message coming through now. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it. I'm going to use my Archangel Metatron deck of self-mastery. I'm hearing, though, for whoever's reaching this message, there's nothing to prove. Stop trying to prove. You don't need to prove. You just need to be, and it will show for itself. 144 on the timer. So let's go ahead and just see what the archangels. I'm also hearing, how funny is that? I go to shuffle, and this card is turned over. Codependency. Wow. If that's not a message, I don't know what is. I'm also hearing Andromedan. So you may be being assisted by the Andromedan star system right now. But nonetheless, so understand you're needing to approve, or to prove is your need to be approved of. And there's nobody that needs to approve of you but you. You are enough. And I'm also hearing this message with this codependency card. Your love is all that matters. But I'm also hearing, clear and ground that, please. Your love is all that matters. You don't need to sacrifice in order to receive. Love is not about sacrificing. Nowhere in the definition, that would be unconditional love. That would be conditional love. Unconditional love does not require you to sacrifice. It does not require you to prove. It does not require you, 333 on the timer, to be less than what it is that you are. What I'm getting here is there's a strong need to go within and really ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? Strip away everything, okay? And ask yourself, if none of this existed, if none of my desires, my earthly desires existed, okay? Because I'm hearing that it's not about changing anything outside of you. It's about changing what is within you and allowing outside of you to reflect that change that has happened within. Okay? So if you're being dependent on reflection, there's a need to go within and ask yourself, who am I? Who am I really? 444 on the timer. But I'm also hearing here, you are going through a lesson right now. You are learning something very valuable that is going to bring you into a higher state of consciousness, and it's going to invoke inner peace within you. I'm also getting a really strong presence, and Archangel Jophiel, solar plexus energy, but we're also talking about the law of cause and effect, also known as karma, the law of karma. Every action has a reaction, okay? So really ask yourself, when you are doing something and you are giving something, what is your intention behind that action? Because what the intention is what defines the action, and what will really tell you what the result of the reaction is going to be. So if you are doing things simply for approval, or if you are giving with the intention to receive, then there is a need to understand that you are going to experience the exact opposite. There is a need to embody, and I'm hearing that this very strongly for whoever this message is for. You need to give because you want to give, and nothing more. Not because you have an expectation of receiving. Because when you give, you are already receiving. If everyone is a mirror of us, then when we are giving to another, we're really giving to ourselves. There is a need to love without attachment, and love without an expectation of how that love will be reflected to you. For whoever is hearing this, the lack of love you feel you are receiving is coming from the expectation of how you receive that love in return, because you are giving love with a very conditional intention of why you're giving that love. Give the love because you are the love. When you give with an expectation to receive, when you play the game of tit for tat, you are actually questioning and mirroring to yourself your own belief in your worthiness to receive. I hope you follow me here. I'm hearing the name Jackson. Might be a last name, might be a first name. I'm really strongly getting it's a first name, and for some reason I'm getting it's with an X. So I don't know. That's for somebody. I'm also hearing that there's a level of detachment that needs to take place to see who it is that you really are, and to compare it as a tool for growth and as to who you are being. You don't need to give with the expectation of receiving. And I'm also hearing this for somebody. This is stemming from a childhood where and this is an inner child wound, where you are constantly needing to, and they're showing me like fish swimming upstream, you're constantly needing to adjust yourself, your emotions, your thoughts, your presentation. And this is very common, I feel, for most people. But there was a need to adjust and abandon that inner child in order to get your needs met. And that's what developed this tit for tat. It was an observation in the way that you were conditioned, and what giving and receiving, the relationship, the action and reaction, or if you really look at it, it's very parallel to the distorted understanding or conditioning of what karma is. But there was a need to abandon the self or the inner child in order to have the needs met. And for a long time, I'm hearing in your life, you gave, and you were never really receiving, because you had this subconscious belief that if I give, that means that I must receive. But as a child, you kept giving, but you never really received your needs, if this is making sense. And it created this program, this subconscious program in your mind, 1111 on the timer. Clearing ground, please. So what happened is now you're in this state where you don't even want to give, is what I'm hearing. You don't want to give because you feel like you're not going to receive. And I'm just getting the strong message that embody the wanting to give and understanding that in which you give to, you are already receiving. I'm hearing giving with gratitude. Give with gratitude. Give for the experience. Give because it brings somebody else love, peace, safety, security, and watch how that gets reflected back to you. Feel that as true. 1, 2, 2, 2 on the timer. But the whole thing of your heart, the whole thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, is about giving. And to give is to receive. And I'm not saying like, you really got to watch what you're thinking when you're doing something, when you're giving something, when you're extending yourself, when you are investing your energy in something. You really got to think about why am I doing this? And if it's not in alignment with unconditional love, then it's probably best to take a step back and really see how you can shift your perspective, because you are naturally a giver. You like to give, but you feel depleted because you feel like you haven't been receiving. So do some inner child work. Ask yourself, who am I really? That inner child is going to tell you who you really are. It's going to show you who you really are. And when you really know who you are, you're going to be able to give without the expectation. So, yeah, that is this little message for whoever gets it. I hope that it finds who it's meant to. I'm also getting something here about doing a light language and a Gesta code clearing for clearing patterns of being used to suffering or sabotaging. I don't know why that's coming through, but it is. So maybe I'll do that and I'll link it below. But remember, give because you want to give, because it feels like love. Give from a space of unconditional love, not because you want to receive. I mean, really, guys, at the end of the day, nothing that could be given to you doesn't already exist within you. And what you give is what you get. So if you're giving expectation, and you're going to get an expectation, you're going to get a condition. So, love you all. Have a beautiful day. I will see you in another reading, and mwah.